again, good morning to all participants. We are now here for the second session. This will be a live demo for you. So whatever concepts we have seen before break, so all that machine learning are mainly the five important tools: KNN, MLP, SPM, decision tree, and K-means. I will give you a live demo with some sample data set, and I will run a full program with a lot of data sets and show you how that program runs and how the results are interpreted. Okay, so let us start with the basics. I think most of the participants are familiar with MATLAB. Okay, so I cannot teach the basics of MATLAB, that will take more time. So all these windows and all are familiar. So you have a lot of windows in MATLAB like current folder, command history, and you have workspace window where the variables created in the command window will be listed, and you have editor window and you have command window. Okay, so command window is called the active window where we'll be typing all the commands and we can get the output of each and every command. Now, in MATLAB, as you all know, the name of the software is called as MATLAB because it is matrix laboratory. Okay, so whatever variable we feed in MATLAB, it is taken as a matrix. If I feed a equal to 1, a is not a single variable, it is a matrix. You can see here it is created like the form of a matrix. It's a 1 cross 1 matrix having one element. Okay, and the basic commands in MATLAB you should know before we start with writing any program. So you should know clear all, which will clear all the variables in the workspace. Once I put clear all, the A variable is deleted. So similarly, I have to know what is CLC. It is used for clearing the screen of the command window. So these are the basic things you have been knowing in MATLAB. And similarly, if I have some matrix like you can create matrices either explicitly by giving some numbers like this 2, 3, 4, space 5. So here I create a matrix as a 2 cross 2 matrix, or I can use built-in functions. Lot of built-in functions is there. If I give I, it is creating an identity matrix. So if I give B equal to I of 3, it is creating an identity matrix. If I give C is equal to a random of 3, it will be creating a random number matrix. All the values will be within 0 to 1, randomly generated. And if I give some D equal to magic of some 3, it is going to give a magic matrix where the sum of the rows and sum of columns, the total of each row and total of each column will be same. So like that you can create matrices either explicitly by typing the values or implicitly by using the built-in functions. And you can also take the data from Excel because when you apply machine learning algorithm, you will be having the data captured in Excel. Whenever you are applying some sensors in the real time, the data will be loaded in the Excel. That is, it is called XSV file. That is the Excel file. Okay. From Excel also you can import data in MATLAB because all the data, whatever is stored in MATLAB, if you click this variable, you will get the variable window, which is basically an Excel sheet. So Excel and MATLAB is highly interfaced. So whatever data you have in Excel, you can very well bring it in MATLAB. So this is the basic things you have to know in MATLAB. And another command is called who command. So if you give who command, it lists what are the variables available in the workspace. If you give whose command, it will list the name of the variable, size, bytes, and the data type of the variables. Okay. With this few basic concepts of MATLAB, let me go into the applications. What are the various machine learning tools we have? So first, you should know how to load and save the data. Okay. So for that, you have a command called load and save. So first, let me save. For example, here you can see in workspace, I have created 4 variables ABCD. I want to save it in a file called sample.mat. Yes. Another thing you have to remember in MATLAB is there are 3 types of files. One is called M files, which is the script files, MATLAB files. Second called is the data files. Data files are only having the data, so it is the extension .mat because it is matrix. Okay, so .mat. And third file is called the MEX file. So MEX file is used for converting a program written in any other language to MATLAB version. For example, a program written in Fortran can be converted to .m. Similarly, a program written in C or C++ or Java can be converted to MATLAB .m. So when you want to do it, you have to use the MEX version. It is a higher level. I cannot explain that now. If you want, if you are interested, you can surf in it and get the details. Okay. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to tell you how to save the data matrix. So for that you give the command save space file name space what are the variables you want to save. Okay. Say for example A, B, C. So what happens? So here you can see in the current folder there is a file called sample.mat. Okay. So all the three variables A, B, C are saved here. Now I am going to clear all. So after giving clear all, you can see that in workspace it's empty, all the variables have been cleared, memory is free now. Now I want to retrieve this ABC. So today I am working, tomorrow when I log in, I have to take the data and work. So what you can do, you can save it, go, come back tomorrow, load it. So for that, load command is used, give load file name, that's all. Give load file name. So if you give load file name, you're able to see that ABC is now created. So are you able to understand the simple command save and load? Save is used to save the data in a file. Load is used to retrieve the data from the file. Similarly, when you have an Excel sheet with a lot of junk data, you can save the file as some file name .mat. Like file name and then you save it as file name .mat. Here you just give load, but you ensure that it should be in the same folder. In which folder you are working? Say I am working in E colon Kalyani program something. So in the same folder only the file should be there. Otherwise it will give the error file not found. Okay. Are you able to understand this, participants? Save and load command. Kindly let me know. Please put it in the chat box. Thank you for your response. Okay. Now I'm going to clear all. Going to start as a fresh. So I have told you how MATLAB, what are the windows, what is MATLAB, how to create matrices, what is the significance of load and save. Now I'm going to load some sample data sets. There are a lot of sample data sets, built-in data sets available in MATLAB. So first I will take a sample real what to say, not power system data, basic data I will take, I will explain all the algorithm, then I will run the complete program for a power system data and show you. Okay. I am going to load a data set called Fisher Iris. Fisher Iris is a built-in data set available in MATLAB. It is for the what to say? It is for identifying the flower. Okay. So there are four attributes here: petal width, sepal length, and sepal width. Okay. We need to find what variety that flower belongs to. Okay, so here as soon as I give load Fisher-Iris, they are able to see in the workspace niche and species. What is niche? Niche is a measured data. Species is the species to which the flower belongs to. Let me type niche and see what is the data is. Okay, so having some data, four column data. This is petal length, this is petal width, this is sepal length and sepal width. So you are having four attributes here. Okay, and let me type species and see what it is. In species, we are having some cell data type. This is a string type data type. So we are having setosa, one flower type is there. Another flower type is versicolor. Okay. Another flower type is Lucia. Okay. So like that, we are having three flower type. That means if you see the size of the matrix 150 cross 4, that means you are having 150 samples, 4 input attributes, 150 samples, 1 output target. Okay, so each one belongs to one type. So first to 50 belongs to Setosa, 51 to 100 belongs to versicolor, 101 to 150 belongs to Vegeta. So this is the thing. Now I am going to apply the various machine learning algorithms to do the classification process. So before I apply the classifier, some basic commands. Let me see. So I can use a function called group to IDX. What is group to IDX? Let me see. So if I give group to IDX, it is converting that string data to a numerical data. So all the Setosa class is given the class label 1, all the versicolor is given the class label 2, all the Virginia is given the class label 3. So this group to IDX is a built-in function which is used to convert the group to index. Okay, so this is we can use because we can work on the numerical data. It is very difficult to work on string data. Okay, this is one function you can remember. Then another function which I want to tell you is gscatter. So what is this gscatter? Let us yeah. Before that, I one more thing. Let me tell you. So let me show you the size of the means. This is the input matrix. Remember, means is called X matrix and species is called Y matrix. Now, this size is 150 cross 4. Suppose if I want to extract the first column and second column, so in MATLAB you have a command called that is you can extract a portion of the matrix. So for that you have to use the first argument should be row, second argument should be column. So what is the meaning of this? I will tell you. So here we are extracting all rows, but first column to second column. If I give 1 to 3, we are extracting all rows, first column to third column. So I am giving these of 1 is to 2. So you can see here I will store in some variable say x. Okay, for better understanding. So here you can see X is having 150 cross 2. That is, among the four column, I am extracting the first column and second column. Suppose if I want to extract the rows, say for example from all 51 to 100, but all columns. Can you tell what will be the command? I want to extract in the Mies matrix 150 cross 4, I want to extract the 51 row to 100 row, but all columns. Can you tell what will be the command? Can you type it in the chat box? Now, if you give x is equal to means, the complete will be stored in means. I want to have only 51 to 100 rows. There are 150 rows. Yeah, good sir. Good. Ramya ma'am, I think. Okay. Good. So the answer is correct, which is typed in the chat box. So 51 is to 100. The first argument is always row, second argument is always column. Whenever you want to give all, you have to give is 2. Okay. So this is, see here, the same x if you see 50 cross 4. It has now become 50 cross 4. That means the middle part is being extracted. Suppose the same thing if I give 1 is to 2, in the middle part, first column and second column will be extracted. See, in the same thing, middle part 50 rows is extracted, but only first column and second column. So this is how you can extract portions of matrix from a full matrix in MATLAB. This also you should know because you should be good enough to work in matrices when you want to apply any machine learning algorithm. Okay, that will be helpful for you. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use gscatter. That is a plot function. Gscatter of means of is 2 comma 1. What is the meaning of that? Means of is 2 comma 1 means all row first column. That is I am taking the petal length. And means of second column. All row second column. Okay. And species is my target. So remember, I'm giving a scatter plot. X-axis will be the first variable, means of is 2 comma 1, that is your petal length. Y-axis will be the second one, and based on the species, it will be the plotting. Now you see the plot, you can understand. So here you are getting the plot. Yes. So here you are getting all the three classes, Setosa, versicolor and Viginsa. So here this is your x-axis, petal length, this is column 1 and this is column 2 variables. So this type of plot you have to put it in your research paper when you write research article for your problem. Okay, so you can use gscatter, but the only thing is here you can use only two variables. You cannot use more than two. It will show error. Okay, it will be shown only in a two-dimensional problem. So you can take any two attributes and you can show the class labels how they are scattered. Okay. So any doubt in gscatter? Hope gscatter is understood. Then one more thing I will show you. So in MATLAB you have a wonderful command called help command. See, I did not learn MATLAB through any textbook or any TP session. Purely MATLAB helped me to learn MATLAB. Okay, so help is very useful. We can study. It's self-learning. We can do. So what is this group stats? You can see this. I'll just show you. Group stat computes group wise summary status. This is required also for the data presentation in your research paper. You have number of data, you want to group and you have to show that. Okay. For that you can use a single command called group stats. See here I will show you an example. So this is another data set called car small. I'll just copy this and put the entire thing here. These two commands. So I am loading one data set called car small like Fisher Isis. This is also another data set. Okay. Some car type and other things. So in order to convert the exponential notation to normal notation, you use format short g. Okay. Use word hospital. We can put this. Okay. There is another data set called hospital. See here, there is one data set called hospital which is loaded. It is having number of data. So here, group stat what it does is, it takes the data set hospital. It will give all this classification. In sex, how many are female, male? Okay, how many are smokers? And then what is the mean? Here it is taking the weight also into consideration. So here you can see this is the standard error measure. SEM is not semester. Okay, whenever we think of SEM, we think of semester. It's not semester, it is standard error. Okay, so here you can see this is one classification, this is another classification, male 0, male 1. How many samples belonging to that one? Female, false. That is type of the human being is female, I mean the gender is female and they are not smoking. In that we are having 40 samples. The female but a smoking type 13. Male no smoking 26. Male smoking 21. So and then we are taking the weight and the some error measure. So that particular mean value is put here. So this type of data you can take for your data set and you can project it in your research article. This is what is group stats. So you can go through the help and still get a better understanding of this function. Okay, is it clear? So we have introduced three functions: group to IDX, which is used to convert the group type to indexes, and then gscatter for plot, scatter plot, and group stats to give a statistical analysis of the data set. Is it clear? Can I go to the next? See, please interact. If you have any doubts, then and there you ask. Okay. So only I'm going in a slow pace. Okay. Now once again I will load the Fisher Isis. Right. Now before applying the KNN, now we are going to apply one by one classify. We have to split the the entire data set into training and testing data set. So here how many samples are there? 150 is there. So when referring to the literature, it is a normal practice to have 75% to 85% of the samples in training and remaining 25% or 20% in the testing. This is the worldwide statistics which is followed. You have to, if you have 1 lakh data, you take 75%, that is 75,000 data for training and 25,000 data for testing, or 80,000 20,000 ratio. So this is the thing. So what I am going to do is, I am going to take 120, we are having 150 samples now. I am going to take 120 for training and remaining 30 for testing. Okay, this is what I am going to do now. So for that, very important to select the data samples for training. Normally what people do is, see, I have 150 samples. First 50, if you remember, it belongs to class 1. 51 to 100 class 2 and 101 to 150 class 3. So they are all independent each other. It is not like first one is class 1, second one is class 2. It is not random. It is in an orderly fashion. Suppose if I take first one to 120 for training, what will happen? I will have all the samples in class 1, all the samples in class 2. In class 3, I will be having only 20 samples. Whereas for test set, everything will be in class 3. So that is not a good way of splitting. You have to cover data samples belonging to different classes in the training set. Then only the training will be accurate. Okay. So what I will do is, I will do a random permutation. There is a function in MATLAB called random term. I will store it in a variable called idx. So what this does, it generates numbers 1 to 150 randomly. No number will be repeated. Okay. Only line 150 and the index that will be generated randomly 11490 some random number it will generate 1 to 150, but no number will be repeated. Okay. So I am generating random indices and storing it in a variable called idx. Now I am going to take the train data. First, let me split the train index and test index. So, what is train index? IDX of 1 is to 120. That's all. Okay. So, what will happen? First 120 indexes will be in training. Remaining 30 indexes will be in testing. So, in testing, I will be having test index will be 121 to end. I am giving like this. In MATLAB, you have to write program, or you cannot directly give 121. You can find some value, put that variable here. Okay. So this is the, I am having the remaining 30 in testing. See, 64th sample, 116th sample, 27th sample, all belonging to testing. The remaining belonging to training. Is it clear how I am splitting the index 1 to 150, few for training index and few for testing index? Are you able to understand this step? Splitting the data set index for training and testing. Please let me know. So some, yeah, Devraj sir has answered. Hands, ma'am, I think ma'am or sir, I don't know. Thank you for answering. Now, I'm having the input data is loose. So what I'm doing, in input data, I have to, that 150 cross 4 matrix is there, no? I have to take 120 cross 4 for training and 30 cross 4 for testing. So what I will do here, I will have the train data, okay, equal to means of what? All the training indexes, so IDX, it will pick the corresponding rows, comma, all columns. So what is the meaning of this? Train IDX I have to put here. Okay, so if I put train IDX, in train IDX I am having 11490 something. So it will pick the 114 row, 90th row, 23rd row, etc. etc. So I will get a matrix with 120 cross 4 in train data. See, I am getting a matrix with 120 cross 4 in train data. Similarly, let me put it for test data. I have to give the test index for this. I will be getting a 30 cross 4 samples. So in test data, I am getting 30 cross 4. So that 150 cross 4, here and there random samples are picked for training. Here and there random samples are picked for testing. Okay. Similarly, this is input data. No, I have to similarly split for output data. I have to take the corresponding species also. Before that, I will store that species into a number data. Okay. I will take it as target of root to IDX of species. So target will be a 150 cross 1, 111, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3 like that. I will, okay. Now similarly train output. output will be equal to target of corresponding train index. Test output will be target of corresponding test index. See, I'm able to get the test data, yeah, train output, yeah, train output 120 cross 1, test output 30 cross 1. So, the train data and the train output together form a set. Test data and test output together form a set. So, this is X, this is Y, this is also X, this is also Y. Okay, so first I am going to use only the training data and corresponding training output to train my model. I will validate my model with the test data and see whether the obtained output matches with the test output to find the accuracy of the model. So it is clear, is these steps clear? How I am taking the train data, test data, train output, test output. Please let me know whether this point is clear. Hello. Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay. Now clear the screen. I'm not clearing the variable, I'm clearing the screen. Okay. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to apply KNN classify. See, one by one we will do. First we will take KNN. Okay. So there is only one function for KNN classify. Everything will be done in that. Okay. There is a function called KNN classify. This is K nearest to neighbor. Okay. So here you have to give the sample, you have to give the training, you have to give the group. Okay. Let's see this. Yeah. See like this. So first let me develop the KNN model with the training data and test with the training data itself to check whether it is correct or not. Okay. So what I am going to do, I am going to take this as it is. So here the variables are different. So it is train data. Yeah. Train output. So what I am doing, please understand. I am giving the training data, that is input X and output Y. As a result, the model will be built and the model will be tested for the training data itself first. Then only I am going to test it for the testing data. So initially for the training data itself, I am testing the model, accuracy should be 100%. Okay. So what happens? There is a KNN train output created, 120 cross 1. Now I have to compare this KNN train output with, this is the output obtained from KNN, that I have an actual output in train output. Let me compare these two column vectors to see how much is the classification accuracy. So here every sample is being mostly correctly classified. But every time we cannot go like this and see one by one whether it is correctly classified. You can use a simple function called find function, where you can compare KNN train output. You can see how many KNN train output is not equal to the actual or the desired output. Empty matrix. That means all the train outputs in KNN classifier as matching with the desired output. So training accuracy is 100%. There is no doubt. Let me go for testing accuracy. Let me give here test data instead of train data. So if I give test data, what will happen? The model will be built with the train input and train output, whereas the model will be validated for the test input. Here I will change my variable name as test. Now you can see the test output is having 30 plus 1 because we are having only 30 samples in the testing. Similarly, use find function to see how many are correctly classified. See, we are able to see that the fourth sample and the fifth sample is misclassified. This is the index. Fourth test sample and fifth test sample are misclassified. So out of the 30 samples in KLN, 28 are correctly classified and 2 is misclassified. So the accuracy of testing is 28 out of 30. Whereas the accuracy of training is 120 out of 120, that is 100%. Is it clear? KLN classifier. This is only function for KNN classifier. That's all. Using that you can do a classification and get the, but you have to interpret the results in different forms. So if you go and refer machine learning papers, they will show the result interpretations in different forms, like they will tell about classification accuracy, they will tell about the F-score, they will tell about the misclassification, they will tell about confusion matrix. ஒரே ஒரு ரிசல்ட்டை டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ஃபார்ம்ல போடுவாங்க பேப்பர். சரியா? Okay, shall I go to the next one? KNN is over. Shall I go to decision tree? If you give me a green signal, I will go to decision tree. Yes, ma'am. Okay, Shanmugama has told. Devaraj sir has also told. Thank you. So, I will once again clear the screen. Now, for decision tree, you have a function called class rect. The name of the function is so see here itself directly given. I will just load this. Already we just loaded. Okay. So here you can see they are loaded the pressurizer data. They are using the class regression tree, and means is your input data, species is your output data, and they are giving names like SL first column. Here I actually wrongly told. First column is septal length, second column is septal width, third column is petal length, fourth column is petal width. So let me just copy this and show you. Okay. So the tree is built. So when the tree is built, tree is not a single variable, it is a structure. It has methods. So we can view the tree. So here this topmost is called the node. Okay, this node is called root. You remember in the decision tree I mentioned root. All these are called nodes. This rectangular, sorry, this what is it? This triangle. All these triangles are called nodes. This one is called root because it is the topmost. All the bottom part are called leaves. This dot node, these dots are called leaves. So if petal length is less than this, petal length is greater than this, it is setosa. Like that. So like that, using different rules, the tree is being built. Okay. This is built for the entire 150 samples. Now let us do it for the training and testing and see the accuracy of the decision. Okay. For this, they have not split anything to training and testing. Directly, they have loaded all the 150 samples and they have given the thing. Okay. What we will do now is, we will build the tree, we will build the tree with a training data set, train data, comma, train output, we will build it, okay. We will view the tree. So this is, so here you can see 1, 2, 2.5 is rounded off to 3, that means it belongs to class 3, okay. If you want to have a better visibility, you should not have that, if you feel that this is absolute, this is meaningless, you should not get 2.5. When running decision tree, you don't convert the index. You keep that species in this string itself. Then you will not get this. Okay. For time being, I will do in the number itself. Okay. After building the tree, you have a function called tree to simulate the tree. Wait for a minute. Yeah. So train, so what is it? DT output, DT train output, DT train output will be equal to tree of. I am going to simulate the tree first for training data. Tree is capital. Nonsense. Wait for a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. The function name is not tree. So whatever you store here, no, in class regression tree, you are building a tree here. You have built a tree and you have stored in the T. So now T is your structure. You have to simulate only the tree. So since here it is T, we can use the same function here. So it is dt train output T train data. So once again I will show you this. So first we are giving class regression tree with the training data and the corresponding training output. The tree is built. Now the tree is built and it is available in a structure called T. Now you simulate this one. Okay, so you will be getting the DT train output as 120 cross 1 for all the training samples. Now using find function, you find whether all the samples in the decision tree have been correctly classified. So compare the DT train output with the actual train output. See, so many samples are misclassified because here we have used that 1 to 2.5 and down. Okay, if you use the species directly, this would have not been happened. Or I think we can round it and see. Okay. Here the values will be decimal number according to the tree. Yeah. Once you round it, all the decimal numbers will be converted to real numbers. So here you are having 5 samples are misclassified in training. So the training accuracy itself is only out of 120, 115 is correctly classified. Now the same thing if you do for testing. So you are giving that for testing and seeing the accuracy. So the same tree is simulated for testing data, which is 30 samples, and the result is stored in test output. Now I am using find function and comparing the actual test output with the desired output. Two samples here are misclassified similar to the KNN. In KNN also, you remember the fourth sample and fifth sample was misclassified. Okay, so here the testing accuracy is 28 out of 30, same as KNN. Okay, so this is how we have to work with decision tree. Any doubt in decision tree? You have only one function called class tree to build a function and you store it in a structure. That tree itself you have to use for simulating for training or testing. Hello. Are you clear with the decision tree? Can I go for the next one? Multi-layer perceptron. Okay, Pooja ma'am is telling yes. So once again, I will clear the screen. Now, in multi-layer perceptron, you have to give the transpose of the matrix. Please remember for neural network. So here I am giving 150 cross 4 now. That column number should be the samples, row number should be the variable. For all neural networks, column number should be the samples, row number should be the attributes or variables. So I have to transpose my matrix before I feed it into the multi-layer perceptron network. So what I am going to do here is I am going to build a network first. What is the function used is new FF. Of course, new FF is nothing but feed forward neural network. I am going to build a network with train data, transposed train data. So in MATLAB, if you put apostrophe, it is nothing but transpose. So the row and column will be interchanged. So I will be doing it with train data and train output, transposed matrix. So the network is built now. This network is also a structure. If you type the network, you can see it's a skeleton network is built. All the weights will be zero. I have not trained the network. And here I have not given any hidden layer. So hidden layer it is zero. Okay. But normally it is not a good practice to give. You have to give hidden layer. See, number of input layer, number of layer itself is only one. There is no hidden layer. So what you have to do is, I will change this command. So I will give the third argument as the hidden layer. In hidden layer, I will give say 15 neurons. How to give hidden layer? By default, the neurons in input layer and output layer will be taken based upon the size of the matrix. Whereas in hidden layer, you have to explicitly give the number of hidden neurons. If you are having one hidden layer, you give in square bracket one hidden layer number of neurons. If you are having two hidden layers, you have to give like this. What is the meaning? Hidden layer 1 will be having 15 neurons, hidden layer 2 will be having 20 neurons. Currently, I will take one hidden layer. So the network has been rebuilt with the hidden layer. Okay. And if you want to know the syntax of UFF, you can type help UFF and see where you can give everything like SIG model functions. By default, it will take TANSIG. By default, it will take LM algorithm for training. If you want to change everything, you can change. You can go for the syntax by typing help UFF and you can use different combinations. Now I have built my network. Now what I have to do is I have to train my network. For training the network, the syntax is train. Train is the function. Train the network with training data and train output and store it in the net itself. Why I am storing in the net? Initially the net was a skeleton network with the weights all zero. Now if I use train function, it will run the iteration, it will update the weights and it will modify the network structure. Okay. So here the training process is doing and we are having one input layer, hidden layer, output layer. See by default it is taking Liebenberg-Marquardt algorithm, train LM algorithm and the performance is based on mean square error. So it has taken 13 iterations. All this performance goal is being given here. So you can see the performance plot. So this and all you can use it in your research article when you present the results of MLP. So here automatically it will divide. See that is the beauty of the neural network. I have given 120 samples in training. It will take few samples for training, few samples for validation, few for testing itself. It itself will take and it will build a better network. And you can see the dotted line shows the best one. That is the best one is attained at the seventh epoch. At the seventh epoch, we are able to acquire a mean squared error of 0.016. So having built the network, having trained the network, let me simulate the network. So what I am going to do, I am going to take the MLP train output will be equal to simulation of the network with train data. So it is simulated. Here also I need to do round function. Okay, because its value will be, if you type MLP, I think it will be sometimes decimal. See, it is all decimal. Okay. So what I will do is when I use the find function similar to DT, I will round it up because this is a classification problem which is discrete. Okay, classifications means output is discrete. I will round my train output and compare with the desired output. That is one extra bracket. Yeah. So I have to close a bracket here. And what is the variable name? Train output. Check that. Train output is correct. I have to give transpose here because this size and this size should match. What happened? Yeah. Now it is correct. Okay, there was a mismatch in the brackets. Okay. So here I am rounding the MLP train output and comparing with the desired output. I am able to understand that 56th sample and 81st sample are misclassified because they are not equal after rounding. Okay. Similarly, I can simulate my network for testing also. MLP test output will be equal to simulate the network for test data. Go to find function, change it as test. So I am comparing the test output with the desired test output and seeing how many are misclassified. See, only one sample is misclassified out of all the 30 samples. So you can type and see if you want. So I will round it and type. So these are the results of the 30 test samples which is obtained through MLP. Okay. So this is about MLP. So what you have to remember in MLP multi-layer Perceptron, first thing is you have to give the transposed matrix where the row should be the attributes, column should be the samples for all the matrix, training data matrix as well as output matrix. Number one. Number two, you will be having three functions. New effort to build the network, train to train the built network, sim function to simulate the trained network for the real-time data and thereby analyze the output. Is it clear? Is MLP clear for you all? Can you tell me so that we can go to the next one, SVM? Can we go to the next one? SVM classifier. Do you have any doubt so far? We have seen KNN, decision tree, and the MLP. Okay, so I think we can go to the next one, SVM. So again, I will clear my screen. For SVM, we have to use SVM classify. That's a function called SVM classify and SVM train. I can even load this and show you. Okay. So here, SVM classify, it will build the SVM structure and then it will test. This is actually the testing function. First, you have to go for SVM train. So here you can see. First, you have to train, build the structure, and classify using the build structure. Okay. So let me do it. This also you can copy and see. Okay, you can understand this. It is not that much difficult. They have loaded the data, they have taken the first column, second column, these are all converting them into numbers, nominal. And then CV partition is one thing because in SVM we are having cross validation. So for cross validation, they have taken 0.2. That means 20% of the samples will be used in cross validation. What is the meaning of that is, suppose that I have say 150 samples. Okay, say 150. In 150, I'm having 120 for training and 30 for testing. This is randomly selected. Okay, so what I will do is I will change that 30 samples. Here I'm fixing no. I'm fixing that 30 samples like sample number 114, sample number 38. These are all reserved for testing. Whereas in cross validation, on the 30th random I will be changing. So I will be having 5 different sets of 30 and I will be working on it so that I will be able to find overall best. So that is the meaning of cross validation. So you have to go and study much detail to understand the process of cross validation. So now directly I will tell you how to use SVM for classification process for the same data set. So we are going to take similarly SVM structure is equal to SVM train. We have to give the training data. Here no need for transpose. So train data and test data. Sorry, train output. Sorry. Corresponding train output. If you want, you can give slow show plot so that it will show the optimal hyperplane. Yeah, this is one problem. Yeah. In MATLAB, you can do only 2 classes in SVM. That is what the disadvantage in MATLAB. Okay. You cannot do 3 classes. Here we are having 3 classes. No? Class 1, class 2, class 3. Setosa, basic color and Vijna. So we will do one thing. Uh, we will convert all that third class to first some other class. Okay. Or else I will do some juggling here. Okay. I'm going to find all the samples in training which is having class label 3. What I'm doing is in train output which and all is matching with class label 3 and finding, storing at a variable called xx. So xx will be having the index of the class labels having 3. So all that I'm going to convert to 2. Okay. So train output new I will be equal to train output of first I will create a dummy variable. I will have a dummy variable because train output I'm creating a dummy variable for me to replace. So what I'm doing is in this new all the XX indexes which is having the class level 3 will be having now the class level 2. Now you can check. Here there is no class level 3. All the class labels are either 1 or 2. Now we can apply SVM classifier. Okay. With the revised class labels. Similarly, I have to go for the test also. Test output new also I have to build before simulating. Yeah, that is how. So here again the problem is it is able to plot only the 2D. That is the thing. Here in train data we are having 4 columns. No? So better we will remove the show plot. Are you able to understand? It is able to plot only 2D. That means in train data we are having 4 variables: petal length, petal with sepal and all. So it cannot plot all the four. If it is having two means it will plot. So now it is not showing any error. The structure is built because show plot is removed. Okay. Now I am going to classify. Before classifying, let me do the same process for testing. I have to convert all the class label 3 to 2. Similarly, whatever I did for training. Find test output equal to 3. Now test output new will be equal to the existing test output, and in test output new I am going to replace all the YY indices to class label 2. Okay. Now I am going to use the SVM classifier. So SVM train output will be equal to SVM classify of SVM structure which is built, comma, let me give it for first train data. So it is built. Let me do the find option and see how much has been correctly classified. To compare with train output new, because I have converted 3 class to 2 class. Yeah. So all the samples in the training has been correctly classified. So this is the syntax. For SVM train, you have to give the X matrix as well as Y matrix. For SVM classify, you give the structure which is built in SVM along with the train data. If you want to give it for test data, you change it to test data. You have to give only the input data, not the output. Okay. Output it will calculate. So I will do the same thing for testing samples. Similarly, I will go for find function, compare the test output with the test output new. Here also empty matrix. So SVM gives a Pakka classification, but it is a binary classification. Okay. So that is the disadvantage in MATLAB. We do not have functions to support multi-classification with regard to SVM. We can only go for binary classification. Is SVM concept clear to you? Kindly let me know whether SVM is clear. The last one is k-means. For that, I will directly show you the program. These are all the programs which I written during my PhD. I'm searching because I completed PhD in 2011. Yeah. This is k-means unsupervised. So this is the program for k-means algorithm. I will not go much into detail. I'll give the basic things alone. Sorry, there is a small problem. It is rotating. Now what I'm going to do here is, this is clear all CLC. I'm loading some data. The data is available like lot visualizers I'm loading. And then what I have to do in K-means is you have to fix the cluster center. Okay. And initially I'm choosing any one of the data, first row or second row as the cluster center. And I'm doing the iteration process, finding the distance matrix. So you do not have built-in function in MATLAB or K-means like what we had in other cases. So we have to do it by writing the MATLAB program. So we are clustering the objects based on minimum distance, determining the new centroids of the clusters. This is purely based on the algorithm which I have already showed you. And then finally we are printing the results. So let me just run this program. Yeah. So I'm having some 140 samples and it is running the clustering algorithm, K-means, and telling me to which cluster each of the samples belongs to. So here I'm giving only two clusters. I'm asking to group the samples into two clusters. So this is how the K-means algorithm is working. Is it clear? Of course, this is a complete program. You have to understand the basics of the programming to understand this program. Now finally, I will show you the complete program. So this is actually the program which I have developed for a book chapter. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are taking all real-time data sets and these are the various real-time data sets: breast cancer data set, unknown data set, wine data set, iris is, so that is Fisher iris, and then we are also taking some power system data set which is WSCC 9 plus data set and New England 39 plus data set, where voltage, the load flow data will be available here for various contingency cases and load variation. And I am developing the complete ML model. First phase is data generation. So I am calling this one. So this program will be called, see, this is the data generation one. This program will be called with data generation. All part will be completed here, like splitting the data. Stage 1, data generation and pre-processing. So here it will split the data for training and testing. It will form the pattern vector and it will do the data normalization. And finally, it will print the results of the data generation phase and the samples belonging to each class. In this tabular format, it will print so that I can use it directly in my research paper or in my book chapter. Then second one is, this is the main program. After calling the data generation, I am calling the feature selection. So in feature selection, we have written, I will show you the feature selection also. Yeah, feature selection stage 2. In feature selection stage 2, so what I'm doing is I'm taking the different methods. So these are the various methods which I have worked with. So for each method I'm calling one program. So this will go and call each program in the corresponding folder and it will tell me how many features have been selected along with the CPU time taken for the algorithm to run. So like that for filter model as well as for vapor model. So, so this is filter model. In filter model, we have all the methods, so the t-test, chi-sweat test. For each and every method, I have given different cases. For vapor model, it will start from case 5. So about 7 feature selection algorithms have been done to find the best one. Okay. This is the second one, second stage, feature selection. So in data generation, we are doing both data collection and pre-processing. So I told you 5 steps. Step 1 and step 2 is done here. Step 3 is done here. Step 4 and step 5, that is the design of the model, the ML model, and the validation is done here. So this is the classifier design. So here I will be calling all the different types of classifiers and I will be evaluating the performance. Okay. Now let me run this entire program to show you in a nutshell how the various ML algorithm is working. I don't know whether some error will come. I am not run it. Let me see. Yeah. Now it is asking which data set you want to work with. So I will give you as one breast cancer. So it will identify whether it is a breast cancer or not a breast cancer based upon the data set. So here it is giving me the complete list of the results of data generation. There are 569 instances, 569 samples belonging to two classes, class 1 and class 2. Total samples in class 1, class 2. And that how many is training, how many is testing. All this data is given. And out of the various attributes you have seen here, number of attributes is 30, number of variables that x1, x2, x3 is 30. So here I need to give any one of the feature selection. I will give the method 1. So now the method 1 alone will be run with all the classifiers. So method 1 is a feature selection method. Okay. So it is giving the results of that feature selection. Out of 30 features, 14 features have been selected. All the remaining are neglected because it is not uh, helpful for classification. And based on that, I am giving the accuracy as 90% with the misclassification 1. What is misclassification 1? Number of class label 1 wrongly classified as label 2. Number of label 2 samples wrongly classified as label 1. For these 14 features, all the classifiers are run like KNN. The corresponding results of KNN is shown. For all the classifiers, I am comparing 5 important things: classification accuracy, error, misclassification 1, misclassification 2, and the CPU time involved in training and testing. So all the classifiers like neural network, MLP, learning vector, so somewhere or there I have actually commented it. So this is the full of the pattern recognition, or what we call it as a complete ML model. Is it clear? Any doubts? So I have given you a detailed demo on the complete ML algorithms by taking a sample data set and also the how the complete model will work comprising of all the five steps. Any doubts in the demo session?
Participants, if you have any doubt, you may unmute your mic and you may ask the questions. You may give your queries or doubts in the chat box also. Please type in the chat box if you have any queries.
Was the demo session useful to you? Ma'am, how to write the ML program and implement in Simulink? Yes, sir, you can do it, sir. In Simulink, you have S function. There is one block called S function. You can write MATLAB program and you can directly, for neural network, you have neural network model itself in Simulink. So directly you can use that box. If you write any other program like k-means or KNN, you can put it in S function and call it. You can call M5 in S function. Is it okay, sir? Devaraj sir, is my answer convincing to you? Tell me about our radial basis function network. That is another type of neural network now. Like what we tell it at MLP, multi-layer perceptron. Similarly, in radial basis function, the activation function will vary in the neural network. It all depends upon the type of activation function used in hidden layers. And it is a recurrent network. So there are two types of networks in neural network. One is feed forward, another one is recurrent. This RBF is a recurrent network which involves feedback. I'm just giving you online description. That's a big thing. RBF is a big thing to deal with. So with this, you can, I think, you can self learn. Any other doubts? Okay, then let me conclude my session. If you have any further doubts during your research also, my mail ID is there. It is also there in the PPT. You can put a mail. Normally, I will be checking mail frequently. So I will reply to your mail if you implement ML algorithm for your problem. To my knowledge, if I am able to reply to your query, definitely I will do it. So before I conclude, I want all of you to, this is not related to the topic of session. I just want you to connect these pictures and tell me the word behind this, the single word behind these pictures. It's a single word. It is not related to machine learning, it is not related to power system. It is out of the topic of today's session. Any idea? You have seen connections game in Vijay TV, no? It is something like that. Anybody is able to make a guess, or even the not only the participants, any other faculty members of KLMC? It is a single word behind this. It represents some personality. No idea, ma'am. Okay, let me give you the answer for this. This is nothing but humanity. Okay, human. We are having human here, E, and then T. So this word behind this is humanity. So in current situations in 21st century, we are losing humanity. We are losing the basic nature of a human being. We may be very learned professors. We may be intelligent, whatever it is. We may be having a lot of money, property. So whatever it is, let us have a good human nature. Let us love people. Let us help each other, especially in this COVID situation. Try to help the poor people. Try to help the people who are in the neighbors who are suffering. Maybe in the term of money or by giving your rendering support, by sharing your knowledge, teaching them, educating them. So let us all have a good human nature that will take us in our life a long way to be a very successful person. I always advise my students, being an engineer is one thing, but apart from that, you should be a very good human being. You should respect your parents and other things. So let us also follow the same thing. Uh, this I just wanted to tell. And I always conclude any of my sessions with the tribute to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who is one of the role model not only for me, for all the teachers of the world. Okay, so if you remember of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he was popular as a teacher. He was a president of India. He was a very good scientist in ISRO. Apart from all that, has he been only an ISRO scientist? Has he been only a president of India? I don't know whether he would have been such much popular. So being a teacher, he has catched the minds of all the young people. He is the only president of India for whom all the students really cried during his dismissal. So As Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam tells, teaching is a very noble profession which shapes the character. So we teachers are more responsible for the development of our nation because we are producing students every year, engineers every year. Let us see that we produce good citizens to the human being, sorry, to the society, so that they contribute much better for the growth of the nation. Let us have a good, let the students have a good positive attitude. Let us inspire them. And very important to my thing which I want to share is always we neglect last benches. But in my experience of 18 years of teaching life, I have seen that last benches are more creative. They get very good jobs. They are placed in high salary package when compared to first benches. First benches will be only studying, whereas last benches will be all rounders. So we need to be all rounders to excel in our life. So let us love the last bench students. Let us give them more care and attention and ensure that the entire class grows and the entire class gets inspired when we go and teach and handle the classes. So last but not the least, as per the Swami Vivekananda ji quote, arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. So let us all be running and let us all strive hard to reach the goal whatever we have in our life. So thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity and for getting connected with all the teaching fraternity of various engineering colleges across the country. Once again, my sincere and humble thanks. It is my duty, I would say, to do something in return to my college, KLM College of Engineering, which also was a great thing in my shaping my career. So I think I have done a little bit of justice to whatever has been expected from the coordinators. So thank you once again for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Nanabal ma'am, and the entire Triple team of KLMCE, and especially our HOD sir, Dr. S. N. Kannan. And thank you all. Thank you all the participants for your patient listening.
Thank you, ma'am. Now only we are getting the feedback from the participants. So no need to thank in person participants. Thank you. Just by giving the feedback as overall good session, very good presentation. So thank you so much for spending a valuable time. So as we have already known that our dean of examinations, now examinations are in progress. So in spite of your just busy schedule, you have allotted time to deliver the lecture in an excellent manner. You inspired a lot. So you are not only advising us, but you have proven that whenever I ask, personally, I ask help to you, you never hesitate to help me. Even you shared your research experience, you shared your coding, etc. So I request all the participants, as Madam telling, Madam uh, sharing. Never hesitate to share your research experience, research knowledge with peers as well as to the students. We should be the role model to our students. So we should be ethical. We should have humanity. So thank you so much. Thank you for your excellent session. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Thank you. Be safe, everybody. Thank you.